Good evening. I'm Leslie Collum, co-president of the League of Women Voters of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, and it is my pleasure to welcome you tonight to this public forum for Rutherford County offices. Before we begin, I would like to thank the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce for their co-sponsorship of this event. I would also like to thank the Rutherford County Government Access Channel, Chasen Haynes of the Chamber, and Judy Powell of the League for organizing this event and making it available to the viewing audience. I now want to remind our live audience of a few rules. No pens, signs, or other visual expression of a candidate preference will be permitted. We also ask that you not applaud or otherwise respond to the remarks of our candidates. Please hold all applause for the conclusion of the forum. Also, we ask your cooperation in staying in your seats until the forum has concluded. I would now like to turn it over to our moderator for the evening.
Good evening. I am Jean Ann Rogers, and I will serve as moderator for the forum this evening. The forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce, and Rutherford County Office of Technology. It is my pleasure to welcome both our audience here at the County Courthouse and our viewers at home to this evening's program. Tonight we will hear remarks from the County Commission candidates for Districts 3, 4, and 7. Before introducing the candidates, I would like to outline the procedure for tonight's forum. Each candidate will be allowed 1 minute to make an opening statement. When all candidates have completed their opening statement, the first of several questions will be asked. Each candidate will be given 30 seconds to answer each question. 1 minute will be allowed for the last question. I will begin by introducing the candidates. They are each seeking election to a seat that is important to the citizens of Rutherford County, and we hope to hear them address these important issues facing all of us. I want to thank them for their gracious acceptance of our invitation to participate this evening. Sitting to my far left and speaking first tonight is in District 3, Mr. Will Jordan.
Are you ready for me now?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were going to introduce everybody.
We're going back and forth, but go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I'd like to start off by thanking the League of Women Voters for setting up this forum and giving the voters an opportunity to meet all the candidates and see what we all stand for and think of. My name is Will Jordan. I'm the Commissioner for District 3. Have served in that capacity for 8 years now. I'm a lifelong resident of Rutherford County and also of District 3. Been married for 20 years. My wife, Mary Ann, she's also a lifelong resident of Rutherford County, having grown up in the Blackman community. We've got 2 sons that attend Rutherford County schools, and my parents are both also lifelong residents of Rutherford County, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Next, we have Mr. Jake Robinson.
Thank you. My name is Jake Robinson. I'm 49. I'm married to my wife, Heather, who works at a constitutional law firm, and I have 2 daughters in college. And I own a financial services firm for over 20 years where I've helped families make good decisions with their money. I lived in Smyrna for 7 years, and then I moved to England for 4 years, where I got a snout full of cradle-to-grave, womb-to-tomb nanny state. And I saw the future of our country, and I decided I want to take it in a different direction, even on a local basis. So when I came back, we moved back to Murfreesboro. We've been here for 4 years. I'm a conservative. I helped co-organize the first Tea Party in Rutherford County, April 15th of last year. I'm also on the American Majority, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan, conservative organization where I teach conservative activism. So even if I don't get elected, I'm going to be holding our local public officials or public service accountable. And I've been attending these county commissioner meetings for the last 4 years, asking questions when they raise our taxes. Why can't you tighten our belt like we have to?
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
I'd ask you for your vote on August 5th.
Next, we have candidates in District 4, Mr. Robert P.
I think this mic's working. My name is Robert P. At the end of this term, I'll have served 12 years on the county commission. Married to Patricia P., who is a teacher here in Rutherford County, has been for a long time. My oldest daughter, Rachel, is also a teacher. She's been teaching, I think this is her 5th year starting. My youngest daughter, Catherine, is in school at UT, University of Tennessee, studying engineering. My father, Robert P. Sr., and my mother, Louise P., my parents. My father was commissioner 30 years ago. This is kind of a family tradition for our family public service. My ancestors actually signed the petition that made Rutherford County a county. Two of them were trustees that built the first brick courthouse here in the county. In my term, we've gained almost 100,000 people since I've been in office. Dad helped build 2 schools. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. P. Next, we have Mr. Rob Thomas.
Good evening. My name is Rob Thomas, and I am running for County Commission District 4. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this event and inviting me. I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, moved here to Middle Tennessee to attend into MTSU for their aerospace program. When I moved here, I found my second home. I enjoy living here, and I was able to just find a great place to live. I found my wife here. We recently married. Her name is Dara Stroud Thomas. And I also have 2 children, 9 and 11, Chloe, Catherine, and Clint Thomas. And I am looking forward to the opportunity to serve our county. I love Middle Tennessee and want to contribute to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Bubba Victory is also a candidate that's not with us tonight. Next, we have District 7 candidates, Mr. Dave Beardsley.
This election is about the people here tonight and watching from home, those who cannot find a job and those who cannot pay their mortgage because they're being taxed to death by the county. The taxpayers need help now, not next week. They need jobs so they can back to work, and I will work with the Chamber of Commerce to bring jobs back to the county. Taxpayers also need their taxes cut. We have had enough of the Farley tax hikes, almost 12% in the past 2 years alone. This election is about you, the taxpayer, and your money. If you want higher taxes, vote for Farley. If you want your taxes to go down, vote for Dave Beardsley on August 5th, Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beardsley. Mr. Gary Farley is next.
I would like to thank the League of Women Voters and Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event today. My name is Gary Farley, and I'm running for re-election for County Commissioner District 7. I'm employed with the Murfreesboro Fire Department as Assistant Fire Chief. My wife's name is Deborah Farley, and I have 4 children, Bobby, Carla, Chris, and Chad. I also have 3 grandchildren. Some of the committees that I've been on are Public Safety. I'm the chairman at this time. The Steering and Legislative Committee, Health and Education, Public Works, Property Management, Insurance Committee, also the Purchasing Committee. At the present time, I'm serving as the Chairman Pro Tem of the County Commission. I have listened, worked, and represented the people of the 7th District. I will always continue to do that, do what is in the best interest of the taxpayers of Rutherford County. Your vote and continued support will be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Next, we have Mr. Eddie Kitzler.
I want to thank the League and also the Chamber of Commerce for letting us have this opportunity for the people to put a face with the name and all the yard signs that they see now. I have been married for 32 years. My wife's name is Phyllis. I have a daughter that's a student at Knoxville, UT Knoxville, and I do have a son that goes to the county school systems. We have been, like I said, we've been married for 32 years. We've lived in this district, in the 7th District, for 22 years. We've got the pulse of the people in the district, and we would appreciate your vote come August the 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Kitzler. We will now begin our first of 30-second questions, and Mr. Robinson, you will answer first. The question is, why are you running for commissioner?
Well, in my introduction, I mentioned that I've been coming to county commissioner meetings and I'm watching them raise our taxes. And we have almost $563 million of county debt. And county commissioners keep raising our taxes, spending our money, and borrowing more money. I think we need some fiscal responsibility, so I would urge you to put someone in office that has a calculator, does research, and is a thinker, and is willing to look outside the box for resolutions for our issues.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Mr. P.
As I said, I'm following a family tradition here of public service to our community. I've worked hard at this job, and I get things done. It's not just for the 4th District, but for this whole county. We are mandated by the state and by the federal government by so many issues that are passed down to local governments. unfunded mandates. And you can look at those. I mean, every day, the new road signs that are going up, for instance, are our mandate for the United States. We've got perfect.
Thank you, Mr. P. Mr. Thomas?
Well, it started last fall. I was speaking with a neighborhood, a neighbor, and I was complaining about some of the roads in my district and our property assessment, why it had gone up. And as I was complaining, the neighbor said, well, why don't you do something about it? So here I am. I have the energy, the perspective, and the vision that I think I can put forth to Rutherford County and continue to make it a great place.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Beardsley?
Thank you. I am running for District 7 Commissioner because the taxpayers need tax relief, not higher taxes and more spending. We should be working with the Chamber of Commerce to promote job growth in the county. We need to put people back to work. We also need to bring down the taxes. We've had the 12% in the past 2 years. The people need tax relief, need to put the money back into the pockets of the taxpayers so they can live their lives.
Thank you, Mr. Beardsley. Mr. Farley?
Would you repeat the question again?
Yes. Why are you running for commissioner?
To continue to help the citizens in the 7th District with their issues and make Rutherford County, for all citizens in Rutherford County, a good place to work and raise a family.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Mr. Kitzler, why are you running for commissioner?
Yes, the reason I've had a lot of people ask me to run, that's one of the big reasons. But we also need some fresh ideas, somebody that will listen to the people, all the people's concerns, so that we can change different things in the county and keep the freshness and new ideas going at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Kitzler. Mr. Jordan?
I'm just running to give back to the community. It's been so good to me and my family. I do assure you, being a small business owner, self-employed individual who pays a considerable amount of property tax myself, that I do not take lightly property tax increases. I've been on the budget committee for the last 8 years, and I take spending every penny of taxpayer dollar just as if I was spending my own. And I ask you to vote for me August 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. The next question goes to Mr. P first, and it is, what do you feel is the #1 issue facing Rutherford County in the next 5 years, and how would you address that issue?
I think the #1 issue is to keep up with the services that we have in this county and to be able to do that within the budget restraints that we've got. We are limited in what we can do as commissioners on how we can raise revenues, and with this economy it's hurt us. Most of our revenues come from interest, and it's quite a bit lower, so we've got to find new revenue sources, which we've looked for.
Thank you, Mr. P. Mr. Thomas?
I believe in Rutherford County we've experienced great growth over the past several years, but the problem we have now is keeping up with that growth and not allowing our county and city and roads to become overcrowded. I think that can be addressed with just a overhaul and recognizing of the budget and taking a look at priorities for our county, and from there addressing those needs as we come.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Beardsley?
I think what we need to do is build more schools without raising property taxes. I would address that issue by cutting county government fluff jobs that aren't needed. For example, Mr. Farley approved creating a county fire chief position for his own brother when we already have qualified volunteer fire chiefs that are more than capable of managing a countywide department together. We also need to look at the tax breaks that are given to companies that come here. They need to start paying their fair share of taxes, and those tax breaks don't need to be put on the property owners.
Mr. Farley?
What I would do would be recruiting jobs. Right now we've got a 10% unemployment rate here in Rutherford County, and I would address it by working with the county mayor's office, the industrial development board, the school boards, the cities of Smyrna, Murfreesboro, and Laverne, and Eagleville, also with the Chamber of Commerce to be able to accomplish this.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Mr. Kitzler?
Of course, I think the jobs is the big issue that we're facing right now. With new jobs, good paying jobs, and having the chamber work very hard to locate the businesses that we may be able to locate here in Rutherford County. And this will take care of a lot of the problems as far as the taxes and what all that we have to pay.
Thank you, Mr. Kitzler. Mr. Jordan.
I would say the biggest concern is both jobs and growth. We need to create more jobs, but we also need to be concerned about the amount of growth that goes on in the county, because every time a family moves here, we're that much farther behind. The property taxes do not pay to educate their children, but we do need to create jobs for the people who are here. And if somebody can tell me how to create a job and keep somebody from moving here to take it, I think that'd be a plus.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Robinson.
We have spiraling debt, overspending, and tax increases. One of the first things I would do is send out a survey to every teacher in our school system and ask them simply, how can we save money in our school system? Because they know where the money's being wasted and the abuse. Not being sent back to the school board or even the Teachers Association, but sent back to the county commissioner so we can look at those results and analyze it. I'll guarantee you we'll find money in our budget.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. The third question is, how have your experiences prepared you for this job? Mr. Thomas, that's your question first.
In my position, I'm an account manager with an executive search firm here in Murfreesboro. I'm faced daily with people and companies that I often have difficult problems and obstacles to overcome. I constantly deal with high-pressure situations, deadlines, and often have to come up with creative resolutions and outside-of-the-box thinking in order to prevail, and that's what I plan to do as County Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Beardsley.
My experience has prepared me basically with my military background. I served 6 years in the United States Navy, 10 years as a firefighter, being the former Vice President of Parks and Fire District. I have the skill set to get the job done, and I am ready to lead today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beardsley. Mr. Farley.
Well, 26 years as a firefighter and 16 years as a county commissioner. One thing you have to have is a plan of action, and to know that there are laws and regulations that you have to go by. I don't know the key to success, but I know the key to failure is trying to please everybody, and you cannot please everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Mr. Kitzler.
Yes, as I've stated before, I've been married 32 years, and that's a lot of budgets that I've went through to keep our family above, out of debt. And also the volunteering that I do, we have to all work within our budgets, and this is a good place to try to move from the volunteering to this to do the same thing with the county's budget.
Thank you, Mr. Kitzler. Mr. Jordan.
Could you repeat the question?
How have your experiences prepared you for this job?
Well, after 8 years on the commission, I've had quite a deal of experience. It also, like I said before, it's a small business owner and a lifetime resident of Rutherford County. I think I'm prepared to keep a close look on the taxpayers' dollars and not raise taxes when it's not absolutely necessary, and petition the representatives in Nashville to give us more avenues to raise revenue without hitting the property taxpayers over and over again.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Robinson.
I've been self-employed for over 20 years, teaching people how to make good decisions with their money in financial services. But I will say I know how to say no. My opponent has voted 1,687 times in his 8-year career. He's cast a yes vote 1,593 times. He's got a 96.4% track record of saying yes to almost everything that comes down the pike, and that includes all tax raises. So whatever he says about his history, I think it's time for new blood in office.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Mr. P.
I've been a county commissioner at the end of this term for 12 years, and we've had a lot thrown at us. 100,000 people, about that here. We've had to build an equivalent of 19 schools, quite a few other facilities. I've been a volunteer firefighter. I've worked in our community on their baseball teams, helped build up recreation areas there. I know where it floods. I know where there are road problems. Those are the kind of experiences that it takes to help people. When you call me, I call you back, and I'll get your answers for you if I don't have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. P. Okay, we're about to start our last question, so you'll have a minute to answer that, to wrap up anything that you would like to add. The question goes to Mr. Beardsley first, and it is, What changes would improve county services and how could they be implemented?
Is the 1 minute for the question and the closing statement?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to read my closing statement. This election is also about who is the most qualified person to serve you. I have in my hand, which is public record, the work record of Commissioner Farley as Assistant Fire Chief of the city. Based on the content of his record, I do not believe he is qualified to serve as the Public Safety Chairman, and I do not believe he is qualified to serve the people, but I will let the people decide. In the past 16 years, the only people Farley has helped are the members of his family. It's time for a change. It's time for a positive change. Let's repeal the Farley tax sites. Vote Dave Beardsley on August 5th. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beardsley. Mr. Farley, the question was, what changes would improve county services and how could they be implemented? And you have a minute.
Okay. Some changes I think needs to be made. We need to have a full-time legal department which will save the county taxpayer dollars. Also, I think we need to enact the new zoning regulations that will help plan our future growth for Rutherford County. Also, in my closing remarks, you have heard a lot of negative campaigning from my opponent. Lies, rumors, and deception. Even if we disagree, I am not going to lie or be negative to get your vote. I'm going to stay true to myself, my family, and my God. I have a plan. I will stay on target with my plan. I have a message for Rutherford County by giving you, the citizen, the service that you deserve and want. I have cards, emails, and letters from constituents thanking me for taking care of their issues. These people are the reason why I am running for re-election. I'm asking you to vote for Gary Farley for County Commissioner of District 7, August the 5th. Early voting starts July the 16th through the 31st. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Mr. Kitzler.
Yes, I think that we need to send some more funding toward the volunteer fire departments and our EMS so that the response times can be quicker on both of those. When everybody needs either one of those departments, they always want them there now. So hopefully we can give them more funding so they'd have quicker response times. I also like to say that if there's anybody that would like to have any more questions about me, I do have a website, and it's vote4, the number 4, eddiekitzler.com. There's a lot of information on there, and I also have an email address. So either one of those areas, you can get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kitzler. The question, Mr. Jordan, is what changes would improve county services and how could they be implemented? You have a minute.
I think we should work more closely with the other municipalities within the county to avoid duplication of services. We need to keep a constant look at services we are providing, see how we can do that more efficiently and more cost effectively. When I was first elected to the commission in 2002, we put our information on the county website, and I put my cell number on there, and a lot of the other people laughed at me and said, you shouldn't do that. People be calling you all hours of the day and night. I don't believe I've had a call in the last 8 hours I haven't answered or returned. I've done the best of my ability to represent the people. I hope everybody realizes how much different it is being a commissioner in a rural district compared to within a municipality. The commissioner in these districts are the only voice the constituents have, whether it be a zoning issue, a problem with sanitation, public works, anything. And I don't know if I'm necessarily the best candidate, but I do urge the people to investigate and vote for the best candidate for District 3.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Robinson?
Repeat the question.
What changes would improve county services and how could they be implemented?
Well, the first change is August the 5th. You guys could vote out all these commissioners, put some new blood in there so we can get some new folks in there that can bring a different perspective. I like Will. He's a good guy. We exchanged cards down at the Walter Hill Fish Fry. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to vote for him. But I would ask you to come out to the polls. Before you do that, do your research and find out. Call me if you want to call me. I'll give you my cell phone number, 424-5817. I'll be glad to tell you where I stand. I'm going to ask 3 questions, anything that comes before the commission. Is this good for our families here in the community? Is it good for our businesses? And does it limit government? If it doesn't do those 3 things, I can't see how we can vote for that. There's too many ways that we can finish up and find the right answer before we raise taxes. It's always the first answer we go to. The county commissioners have one tool in their toolbox. It looks like it's a hammer. and every problem looks like a nail, and it's called raising taxes. I'm going to do something different in there. I'm going to give you solutions. I'm going to find solutions that our
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
our folks can feel good about.
Mr. P., what changes would improve county services and how could they be implemented?
One thing we need to do is research our zoning processes. They're being revamped right now. That is something we're already working on. But two, we also need, this is the automation age, technology age. We need to get more of our agencies online where these questions that people have can be answered online, where you can file your taxes online, whatever you need to do. These questions are at your fingertips, and it should be more accessible. But as a commissioner, you know, there's a lot of things we have done and worked hard to do. One thing I've done is worked hard to freeze taxes for our people that are over 65 on fixed incomes. That's something we worked hard, or I worked hard, and got done and accomplished. You know, we don't use a hammer to raise taxes. We pay them ourselves. My mother pays them. And it's just difficult for us to pay them as it is anybody else. But we have to answer to our constituents and what they need, or a road repair, flooding in their house. I just got a call from a lady, called her back, and got people going over there in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. P.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas.
First, I'd like to say I believe our job as county commissioners is to represent the best interest of the people in our district, in our counties. I think there's an opportunity for more community involvement. I would like to offer transparency and accessibility if I am elected. I've got several ideas, one being creating a site, even if and I'm welcome to pay for that myself, just to offer a more direct contact with myself and what's going on in our county, to offer our votes as they come up. I know that it's accessible on the Rutherford County website, but I don't know many people that can understand it. So I'd like to create a position where we could have an open forum to discuss those before the vote comes to term. Another thing I'd like to do is see some more development in my district with the widening of roads, repaving, and sidewalks. Also, an overhaul of the property assessor's office. Many people in my district and people I know in the county have seen a 50 to 100% increase in their assessment over the year.
Thank you, Mr.
And if you vote for me, that'll end.
Once again, on behalf of the League of Women Voters, Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce, and the Rutherford County Office of Technology, I want to thank all the candidates for their participation tonight. I also want to recognize Brian Robertson and the staff of the County Technology Office for their cooperation in presenting this program on Governmental Channel 19. I want to remind all citizens to go to the polls on August the 5th to exercise their important right to determine who represents them, as well as the other important positions being voted on. Early voting is July the 16th through the 31st. May we close with a round of applause for all the candidates.
You did a good job.